Welcome to a new episode of Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a dynamic star in the entertainment industry, Nirine Brown. A skilled dancer and actress, Brown has worked with legendary musicians such as Beyonce and Shakira. She's also performed at the BET Awards and the American Music Awards. Brown's breakout role came on Tyler Perry's hit drama series, Ruthless. She can currently be seen on Amazon Prime's thriller, Swarm. We now welcome Miss Brown to this live stream of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Welcome into a brand new live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, Sports Talk podcast and radio show presented by Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. With me, your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Super excited to be back. Hope everyone had a good weekend, a great start to your April, and a special thanks for all of you who joined us last week on the live stream show with special guest, former NBA player Kermit Washington, especially all of you who stuck around the full 2 hours of the show. I promise not to keep today's guest that long, but this is the beauty of podcasting. You never know where the conversation is going to lead you. And Kermit shared just such incredible wisdom drops. A DC guy, a guy that's obviously learned so many lessons throughout his life. So truly appreciate all his time and appreciate all of you. So we're going to keep the party rolling. We're switching over to the entertainment side today of things. And I'm super excited because if you're like me, when you have free time, you're looking for things to watch. And one of the cool things I started watching was Swarm on Amazon Prime. You guys all should get into it. And luckily for me, I'm so excited to have one of the actresses from there actually joining me live today. So bring your questions, bring your thoughts, bring your comments. I see the questions and comments already rolling in. But today I'm so excited to be joined by none other than Nirine Brown. She's an incredible actress. She has a dancing background, a writer, a woman of many talents. She's called a triple threat. All right, y'all. So she's doing the dang thing. And super excited to have me join me here right now live. So let's welcome Nirine to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you, gorgeous? Thank you for having
fantastic.
me.
I love that we both did the bright colors, and then we both have these big personalities. So it's going to be a good show. I can already tell.
It's going to be so much fun. I love spring colors. Spring colors
Me
and fall
too.
colors. My favorite. Yes. So you'll always catch me
waited.
we
waited too long here in the DC area for spring to come. So when I saw 79 Nirine, I was like, I'm bringing out the sundress, whether it is. They've been in the closet too long.
Right? I love spring. The sandals, the shoes, the whole nine. So, yes.
I love it. Well, Nirine, I like to do a wellness check with my guests first. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How's life for you currently? I know it's good because you're doing so many things right now.
Thank you. I mean, besides from what people can see, I can genuinely say that life is good. Everything's good. I love that I'm a New York native, bred and born
Yes.
Queens native, who came to LA with that same New York mentality, the hustle, the bustle, and
I love
God's
it.
been so good with all the blessings that's been coming my way. So I can genuinely say overall I am good.
That
Besides
is
what
amazing.
besides what the social media shows, you know how it don't be parallel.
It
So
don't be
I
everything. We put the good on social media. We don't put the whole life on social media. So
right.
that's what we do a
So
real
thank
wellness
you.
check with folks.
I
Yes.
appreciate you. How are you today? How are you doing on
I'm
this beautiful
fantastic. I was
day?
excited to meet you. I told you I just got in a swarm. So it's always nice to put a real face, right, to what you see on camera. So nonetheless, I know it's going to be fun with you. I also appreciate you asking. And let's start. You already got me. So we're both East Coast girls. Let's start from the
Boom.
beginning. East Coast girls bring a different swagger. Let's start from
It's
you
different.
growing up in Queens, New York, and what it was like for you and how you were really able to achieve your dreams. I know you're acting now, but actually, you started off dancing. So I want to hear this story. How did little Nirene Brown turn into this older Nirene Brown that we see today?
Well, I went to a local dance school called Bernie Johnson, and a lot of alumni from that studio, such
Yeah.
as Valerie Pettiford, who's an amazing actress, who's currently on a show on BET Plus as
Yeah.
well. Yes, Black Business. She also was one of the alumni from my dance studio. So I come from a local dance studio in Queens, and I also went to DeVore Dance Studio,
Yeah.
as well as shout out to Isoda, which was another studio. So like I was busy. I had a lot of energy when I was younger. I
The
believe
parents were busy.
my mom's goal was to exhaust me. Like she was like, this girl got too much energy. Let me put her in everything. And all
Make
she
her
did
tired. Make her tired.
make me tired. But all she did was ignite energy and a love and a passion for me. And then I wanted to show her every dance move, every lesson,
Oh, that's
tap,
awesome.
jazz, ballet, modern. I perfected that craft to the point where I studied at Alvin Ailey Dance
Yes.
Studio.
The prestigious Alvin Ailey. We know about Alvin Ailey here in DC. That's amazing and truly
Yes.
amazing.
So that was amazing. And even, going to a performing arts high school, that was a really big decision, actually, coming from Queens, because I almost was like, let me just stay in my borough. A lot
Yeah.
of New Yorkers tend to just stay in their boroughs because we get real
Mhm.
comfortable and you just have everything in your borough. There's no reason for me to go to like all the way to the Bronx. You know what I mean? When I could just go to my local stores
Right.
and everything in Queens. So when I made that decision, that was almost like a huge decision for me because it's like, do I
Yeah.
really want to travel all the way to the city just to go to school?
Right.
But I was just like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? And it was the best decision I made leaving Queens,
Awesome.
So
Sometimes you have to leave home, right? Sometimes you have to leave home. You got to
you
make
got
yourself uncomfortable, right? And a new challenge for yourself. And look how it obviously turns out for you. So, like you said, the best decision you could have made.
the best decision. I think what was fear sometimes limits us from going to. I call myself pretty brave. I think I'm pretty tough,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I see it.
I think what I was scared of is around the time when I was going to high school, there was a lot of like crime where people were getting like pushed into
Mm.
train stations. And I was just
Wow.
like, that don't sound like a place I want to be at where people get pushed in the
Mm.
train. But I just had to remember
Yeah.
that God is with me in everything I do and every walk I take. And
I
as
love
long as I
that.
have the awareness, which is what New York brings to you,
Yeah.
that New York environment makes you aware of your surroundings. It was just like, as long as I'm
Yeah.
aware of my surroundings, I'm paying attention at all times. Don't walk in fear. Just know that like you'll be good. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the city and
Yeah.
pursue dance and musical theater.
That's so awesome. Look, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And I love that you really acted on, something that you always wanted to do. You're like, the fear is not going to hold me back. And like you said, I think so many people in life, sometimes that happens, right? We let fear hold us back of what we want to accomplish for you. But as you move on, I want to ask you. So when you're dancing, and I'm someone that also did dance, shout out to Miss Chiante's Dance School of Maryland. I remember doing tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop dancing, all the
All
fun
of
stuff. And I think so many of
it.
us getting dance when we're younger. But for you, was it like a form, would you feel like a self-expression for you? Or, was it just maybe an escape from the everyday life in New York? Like, what did you see dance as for you? What was kind of that, what really ignited that passion other than mom making sure that you stayed busy, booked and busy as a little child?
For me, dance was so much fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think I thought about it as an escape until maybe when I was like older.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, it was just fun and I was really good at it. And when it's fun, it's genuine. And when it's genuine, then it's like you can when you do something, you're not worried about what people are thinking or saying. Cause you're like,
Yeah.
I'm living my best life. I'm having fun. And people can see that joy.
I love
So
it.
yeah, I didn't do the whole, I don't have that story. I don't have that whole like dark, like I had to go into cocoon and just express myself. I don't
Right.
have
You wasn't like
that.
that. It was just fun. You liked it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think, speaking of that, Irene, I think that's what we have to talk about so much more is just Black girl joy. I think that needs to be celebrated and, celebrated. It needs to be amplified. Like, Black women, Irene, are really in the news right now. You might have saw there's a lot happening right now and conversation around that. But I think you're just showing being unapologetically you. I think this is just yet another example of just finding that joy, being yourself and having fun while doing that. So I so love that you shared.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And it's genuine. I used to worry about when I don't like to use the word transitioning because I
Mhm.
feel like when you're dancing, you're acting, you're telling a story because you're
Right.
using your body. And back in the days with cinematography, they didn't have any words. It was black and white. So all you had to use your body language. So for me,
Right.
dance and acting were one.
Yeah.
I don't like to separate it and say transitioning.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because it's the same. It's just different ways of telling the story, but both evoking strong emotions through
Through different.
your yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but what I will say is, after I will say for now, for lack of a better word, when I was transitioning into acting, what I really, really appreciated about that, which was different from dance,
Yeah.
was how deep you have to get into the character. You're like basically another person.
Right. That's digging into
Um,
your emotions, right? I mean, Irene,
you're
it's so
like,
funny you say that because people will be like,
mhm.
Kelsey, why don't you act? I'm like, no, I love broadcasting. Acting's a whole different thing. Like, I like this is me. It's so hard for me to get into different emotions. And that's what I love about what you all do. It's such a hard thing to do. Like, it's not easy. I mean, you
And
really have
Dominique
to.
Fishback, who played, Dre and Sworn, did such an amazing job tapping into
Yes.
all those different phases in her life as we watched the transition into the show.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, it was fun going from Tyler Perry show Ruthless, where I played Lynn Rollins,
Yeah.
and I played a woman who was basically, she had a lot of resentment towards her husband due to his time consuming FBI
Mhm.
job, always undercover, always moving,
Yeah.
interrupting like their sex life. Sex is very important in marriage. I'm not married yet, but
Well, there's a lot of
I
ladies
know
snapping
that
probably right now, Nirene, like Nirene is preaching.
I know it's important. So that resentment built up, and then my character Lynn
Yeah.
tapped into something she shouldn't have tapped into, and it opened up old wounds of her addiction. So
Mhm.
going from that character, where a lot of people are just like, I can't stand this woman, she's mean and she's just doesn't know how to treat her husband, to like
Yeah.
now embodying pop stars of this generation, of like tapping into all of them, the Michael Jacksons, the Rihannas, the Beyonce, the
Yeah.
Lizzo's,
The
like
superstars.
the
Yeah.
superstars. Just like it's a lot of inner work, right? So you gotta make sure you're not comparing yourself. You gotta make sure you're not doing anything that's self-sabotaging, yet
Right.
finding the commonality in all those things at the same
I love
time.
that. Finding that commonality and all those things. So since you mentioned it, let's dig into Swarm. We'll get back to the dancing because I want to dig in so much more with that. But Swarm, folks, if you're not watching it now, get on the bandwagon train. It's on Amazon.
Prime.
Amazon Prime. We all have Amazon. While you're ordering your packages, switch to the videos while you're waiting for that package to come to the doorstep if you haven't already. But you play Nija, and I started watching Swarm, Nirine. And essentially, for folks that maybe haven't watched it, essentially this is kind of like our Beyonce, right? In a sense, like someone that we all love so much. But this person in the film loves her just a little bit too much, right? It's a crazy obsession. And we probably all know some folks like that, whether it's Beyonce or anybody else out there, right? You have your super crazy fans. TMZ reports on these types of people all the time, but that
Right.
being said, let's talk about this. First, I know, this movie has opened up so many doors for you, this series, I should say. I know you got to attend your first South by Southwest for the premiere of Swarm. So let's talk all about this. South by Southwest, one of the biggest probably conferences out there. Always just hear wonderful stories about it. So for Swarm to take you to that, what was that experience like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was my first time attending. So,
Yeah.
and my first time in Austin, Texas, which is a beautiful city, by the
I
way.
love Austin, great college town.
My first time. It was surreal. It was magical. It was like it was the official premiere before the LA premiere, but I knew like I should show up, but I need to show up in LA.
Oh yeah. Look, LA, it's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole other ball game. So it was super chill and just super like everyone is chill in Austin. So and everyone was really warm and welcoming, and like it was surreal. It was good. It was exciting, and I just couldn't wait to see the finished product. As the actor, we never see it until we're at the premiere.
You guys are watching with us, essentially.
Exactly. Even on TV series, we're watching right with you. So like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really fun when I saw the opening, and it was just like, boom, Nyjah, right there.
I mean, that's somebody I feel like we hook on to immediately, when you're watching the series. And now, let's get into the series. And first off, congrats to you. I saw your character on the cover of Vogue magazine, y'all. She's doing big things. Once you make it to Vogue, look, you're doing something right.
Right.
But then something I love that you tweeted, you said, my character made it to Vogue, but one day it's going to be me, Nirine Brown, as myself on Vogue. I thought that was so powerful. So powerful. Take me through that tweet, Nirine. Like what was going through your mind, and how will you work to get to that point where one day I'm gonna have to have you back and say, Nirine, we did it. You made it.
We did it. We did it, Kelsey. What was that? What was going through my mind? Just dreaming big and saying that all things is possible with God. And why not? Like, who was it hurting? other like who is it really hurting? I mean, you can think of people it might be hurting, right? But like that don't matter either, right? What matters is dream big, envision yourself in those TV shows, envision yourself in those roles. I literally had told the makeup lady, and this is a true story. She was doing my makeup in a chair, and I said, I want to be on Abbott Elementary. And I kid you not, like 2 weeks later, I was on Abbott Elementary.
I saw that. And that's a huge photo of y'all. We're not just talking about any tiny show, y'all. She was on Abbott Elementary, the one that we're all hooked to. Like, that's incredible.
Yes. And I literally said, as a substitute teacher, and that was the role I got, which was so crazy. I said, I want to be on Abbott Elementary. I don't care if I'm a substitute teacher. And that was the role I got. So words are so powerful. Words are very powerful.
They are. Yeah. It's manifesting it, right? When you manifest something, I think you really, truly do believe in it. And you obviously put the work in to get these roles, right? And so,
that's the part people forget about manifestation.
The work.
Yeah, people just be like, I said it and it happened.
Right. It doesn't happen with the snap, right? You have to put the work behind the dream if you truly want to make that a reality. So this is why we love seeing you thrive. And I want to talk about Elementary, but just going back to Swarm, take me through the process of you turning into Nyjah, and then first, turning into Nyjah. And also, what was it like for you to get asked to even play this role, right? When you first heard about this new series that was coming out?
So I auditioned like everyone else, and I'm super grateful for the showrunner, Janine Abbott and Donald Glover, for picking me, as well as casting directors. I had no clue how big the impact of Nyjah was going to be. I mean, I knew she was a pop star, but I didn't know to what magnitude. Like, this is a A-list top.
Oh, yeah.
She is like one of the top tier entertainers of all time. So she is up there with the Beyoncés and the Michael Jacksons and the Rihannas and the Lizzos, which is so cool. In regards to preparation for it, like I said, I just had to constantly renew my mind and make sure that I was not comparing myself to anyone.
Yeah.
I was making sure that not only was I tapping into like the reality, the part where I said with acting, you have to see your similarity, the similarity of like, I am a star. So I'm not a person playing a star. I am a star who is having an opportunity to play a star, but essentially I am a star as well. So I just, renew my mind. I don't need to say, oh, I look like this person, or can I tap into this, person, make sure no one compares me. I had to cut off that white noise,
Okay.
and just bring Nirene, because guess what? There's literally only one me, and
Truly.
no one
No,
can duplicate that.
one carbon copy of you. There's no other DNA set that's going to match you. I think that's so powerful because, like you said, you're playing this superstar role, but
Yeah.
it's your role to own. And when we're talking about how much people love this character, y'all, I don't want to spoiler alert. When the rent money was given away for those tickets, all right. And again, spoiler alert. Sorry if you haven't seen it yet, but you knew it was real. I'm just saying, anytime you give rent money away to watch somebody, right, that you adore and love, you love that person because rent still got to be.
Right.
And if you watch the series, you understand what happened later. But main thing, the tickets were gone. But
And
going
for
back,
those who did watch the show, I just want to take the time to say thank you for
yes,
just supporting me and accepting me and loving me as I am. Because
yeah,
it's been like amazing to see the people's response. Like,
that was
a
my question,
a
Nirene. Yeah.
chocolate girl. Ooh, like everyone's been so receptive and so
Aw.
sweet about receiving me. So,
That's awesome. Because that was
yeah.
my question. When you see all this love that the show has gotten on social media, especially that first episode, right? Everybody's going crazy about the first episode. For you to be part of that, like, I mean, what is that like? To really just see before your eyes the world just going crazy to something that you were part of.
I mean, the music was pop bopping too. So
It
like,
was. Y'all
I
did
mean, the
that.
first episode, I was like watching and doing some shoulder moves at the same time because it like grabs your attention right
Yeah.
away. So that is just because the team itself,
Yeah.
this amazing music department, everybody is. It's a collective. It really takes a village to make such a beautiful project. So cast
Yeah.
and crew, I get it. I get why when everyone makes that Oscar speech, I see why the timer goes out. And when I have those moments, I will be also having music played on me because it's to go back to the childhood and be like, I want to first thank my
It's
mom and
so
dad for
special.
making me. Like it's to go back to the beginning, especially when you get to that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that first episode is so powerful. Like I said, from the visual to the music to you just being invested into each character and wanting each character to get what they want in life.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there's some toxic behaviors that we're not condoning.
Yes.
For those who
True.
haven't seen it, you gotta watch it.
Yeah. We're giving
But
you
it's
all
just
the
interesting.
teasers.
It's interesting how they take those toxic behaviors and bring it to the light with the food and all the things. I can't give away too much.
Everything. Yeah, I know. It's like we want to, but we can't because we want y'all to
Right.
watch
We want to, but we
it.
can't.
To what we're talking about. And, I guess just following the series, I mean, what do you hope it propels to, Nirene? I mean, you're doing this great series, it's getting all this great feedback and reaction. How do you hope to hopefully maybe leverage this for something else you want to do, in the future? Because again, the feedback is real, y'all. Hit the hashtag. You'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, folks really are going crazy.
Hashtag swarm, hashtag team Nadia. I pray that this opens opportunities for me to I would love to do something superhero, Marvel, like that would be dope.
Yes, and yes, the Black woman superheroes. Yes,
we're talking about dreaming big. We might as well speak life into it. I love comedy. I love to laugh. I'm such a goofball.
Me and
And
you both.
yeah, I really love to laugh. So here's to more series regulars on a comedy. Abbott, call me back as your substitute teacher.
Always need a good substitute.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I want a career that is aligned with who I am, with my spirit, with being proud of my work, because we all leave this earth, and whatever we leave behind is what matters. So
Yes, that
I'm
legacy.
here to hopefully leave behind good work, inspiring those young Black women out there, or any young kids from the inner city that feels like this doesn't seem like it's a reality. It's to say yes, it is, and not that doesn't mean like, oh, just go off the grid and just be an artist. You got to also have your education. It's good to have
Yes.
balance both because you just
Mm.
never know. So I pray to be an ambassador for that, those kind of things. And yeah, just be happy with my work. But yeah, of
So
course, the superhero Marvel, more comedy, more just see me everywhere. Like Issa Rae said, because she a Capricorn like me. Just be prepared to be sick of me. I want you guys to be so sick of me. But like
I
in a
love
loving
that.
way, in Jesus' name.
So beautifully said. I think that's the spirit you need to have, especially to succeed in such a competitive, tough industry. It's just good to see
Right.
that joyous, side of it. And, going back to kind of the comedy angle, I want to dig into that because I know you, as you mentioned, you were on Ruthless, which is Tyler Perry's hit drama series. But I don't know if you're like
Drama.
me.
Drama.
Real drama, right? If you want drama, well, here you go. But for me, Tyler Perry, how I was first introduced to him was the comedy side of him. I used to love his screenplays. Like, a lot of us grew up in the house watching Tyler Perry screenplays. So for you, I want to know, what was that experience like, being a part of a Tyler Perry project, who think you could say is probably one of the most powerful men now right in Hollywood, and really does, make an onus to give back to Black people to act in his series, give them work, which I think is so important in Hollywood.
I mean, Mr. Perry, I like to say Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry is such a dope person. Like,
yeah,
I've imagined my career starting off like very Raven Simone, like a young child. So when that didn't happen, and then I didn't become like the CW teenager, cute like actress, and then now I'm like an adult, and it was taking time to happen. I would have never thought my first big professional job would be with Mr. Perry. Like, God like threw me off with that. So to have that opportunity was like, it was a love letter to me, because this is a man who gives new people a chance.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't chase clout. He's not on the clout chasing. Well, I need someone who has a name. I need someone, and no disrespect to the people who do start projects with people with names, because I understand it's a business.
Right.
I understand that. But how amazing is it that my first caretaker, my first boss, is a man who's just like, I want to see new faces. I want to put somebody on. I mean, I was just like praising Jesus when I got the call.
He works in mysterious ways, and that's what happened.
Yes, and he's so dope. He's just this big energy that can come off intimidating, but if you got that New York swag or that East Coast where you're not intimidated by most people,
we're built different.
Yeah. If you're not like timid and you just go in there and be who you are with that big energy as well, it's just like he comes in, he gives you that hug, he laughs, he's really fun on set, because Ruthless is a serious drama show, and it's about a cult. For those who don't know, the show is about a cult that's like anti-government, and my character Lynn Rowland's husband is an FBI agent who goes undercover, and I'm just like Curious George in there, like, put me in, coach. And my husband's like, don't do that. So for it to be such a serious show, we have so much fun. The cast is amazing. Every time they cut, we laughing, we're doing a dance break. Anything to be like, let's lighten it up a bit. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have even imagined, because again, I imagined my first job being like a little girl. Like, why didn't I break out soon? But I'm glad that I have been this adult that's been groomed of knowing who she is, so that I can be solid while I'm in the industry. Because you're taking on so much when you're younger, and different characters, as you're developing your own opinions. It probably is very confusing, and kudos to those who have done it at a young age, like the chiropracts, and is freaking successful as an adult.
Yes. And look at amazing,
kudos to all those amazing women that have been in the game for so long. The Tia and Tamara's are like, great job, and being solid. Because sometimes people lose their way. So maybe the Lord would have been like, nah, Nirine, you don't need to be you don't need to be a young child actress yet. Like, I'm gonna wait until you're solid
Yeah.
in me.
And it
So
happens for all of us, at different times, and it's all trusting his
absolutely.
timing. And I think you're speaking to so many people out there. I think so often sometimes we can be the harshest critiques, right, of our harshest critics
Yes.
of
Yes.
ourselves, giving ourselves all these mean critiques like, well, and I think it's that comparison too, right? Like, well, she hit when she was younger. Aren't I supposed to hit when I'm younger? Not knowing,
Right.
again, it's a plan and you don't know when it's going to be able to hit for you. But I think, people out there, I think you're sending a message like, don't give
Mm.
up. It can still happen. I mean, look at your first role. You talked about it. I mean, don't think anything's too big for you. But then also, I think the other side of it, it's also so important for people to just to give people an opportunity, a chance.
Mm.
Because as you mentioned, we have so many big names, but they all had to start from somewhere. And I think that's
They
what most
all
people
had
just
to
want in
start from somewhere.
life.
Absolutely.
They just want an
Absolutely.
opportunity, and a chance. And for you, talking about, your acting, what was that transition like, moving to Los Angeles, being in the bulk of Hollywood and all the
Mhm.
actors and actresses and really finding your footing, but also staying true to yourself and your New York roots?
So I'm a Capricorn, so I'm not big on like just up and leaving and going somewhere. I love stability.
Yep.
And I just so happened to have a job that brought me to LA. So
Okay.
that's how I came about being in LA. I was a part of the first national tour of a Broadway show called Wicked.
Yeah. We know
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah. So that's what brought me to LA. I didn't just like, again, if I didn't want to leave my own borough, I wasn't going to leave my own state.
Right. Right. Yet alone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna up and go. No, I don't think that. New York also is an amazing city that has film and TV and Broadway.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah. Pretty much
so
as
yeah,
everything LA offers, but a little bit colder.
it's just different. Yes. The weather difference is just the big difference. But they're both thriving in both states. You can thrive in. So I got blessed to have a job bring me here. And then I said, okay, let me test out the waters and see what happened. I didn't put a time limit on myself.
Mhm.
I didn't say, oh, if it doesn't work out in a year. I didn't have any type of negative mindset. I was just like, okay, we're
Right.
in it. Let's make the best out of it and just see what
Yeah.
happens. And yeah,
The
with that
positive
determination, here I am.
I think the positive affirmation is so important, and like you said, no time limit. You were positive about it, and just knowing that things will work out. Because again, once you get that negative mindset, it can be hard to escape from that. It can be hard to break, from that. And mind you, you probably have negative people sometimes in your ear saying, well, why would you go do that? Right. You have stability
Right.
here, you're taking a chance. So I think everything you're saying, you're just dropping jewels throughout this whole interview.
Uh,
And just
Yes,
staying
thank you. I thank you. I
it's
appreciate you.
important though.
We once again we've learned so much as we grow.
Mhm.
So that's the only reason why I know that.
It's
But
important. Like, there's probably someone out there, one or even more, who need to hear this. Especially coming from someone like you that has reached, success, that I know will continue to reach success. And to stay on where your
thank
travels have
you.
taken you, you've done some cool things. This takes us back to the dance world. You were a principal dancer at the 2019 Coachella Festival. I mean, for folks that haven't been there, we see everything, but but to do that, I mean, it had to be amazing, right? So take me back to that experience and what it was like for you to obviously combine your love of dance at the highest level.
Oh yeah. So 2018, everyone called it Baychella because Beyonce was the headliner
Oh
and
yeah.
was the first African American female headliner, which is crazy that we're still trying to do first when it was like 2018.
Yeah.
Um, that was amazing. I've actually auditioned for Beyonce before for one of her tours and got to the end. And
Amazing.
I didn't get the job, but it's funny how then that following year I
What
got
happened? Yeah.
I got what I was supposed to get. Um, so that was a very amazing process. A lot of rehearsals. I was being a crazy lady, working my day job while doing rehearsals. I shouldn't have done that, but again, I think that was just like my workaholic inside of me, just making sure that I stayed humbled at my job while
Mhm.
also achieving Coachella.
Right.
Um, yeah, I've traveled with Shakira to Africa. I did the South Africa World
Amazing.
Cup. Mary J.
Amazing.
Blige, Janelle Monáe, Jadena. That's all of that happened honestly when I came to LA
Wow.
because in New York it's a very theater and contemporary thriving city with dance.
Right.
There's a lot of companies. So LA, there's a lot of commercial. We call it commercial dancing, where you're
Okay.
like dancing behind an artist. They call that commercial dancing. So after Wicked, and I stayed in LA, I've had all my connections and my relationships with people back home in New York. And a lot of those people relocated to LA. And then when I tell you that this life in this industry is all about relationships, it is legit the truth.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, you're in LA. Are you still dancing?" "Yeah." "Okay, cool. I'm gonna tell you what's happening." And that's how I got in the loop of all of these things. Of course, with an agent as well. You have to thrive in this industry with an agent who have access to those people with relationships. And then was just like dancing more here.
Yeah.
Technically, with the artists, more artist based than I did in New York. So it was funny how my two worlds still benefited me here in LA.
Which is amazing. I think that's what you want, right? That kind of collision of everything that you've been doing. And you talked about it. Again, she's giving tips, folks. So make sure you're taking note, make those relationships. They matter. And you never know when you might need to lean on any one of those relationships. And, you talk about the power of an agent. A lot of that happening in sports right now with this guy named Lamar Jackson. But switching over to the entertainment world, you're hearing it as well, the power of an agent and, having really somebody go to bat for you, right, Nirine? I mean, someone that can go to bat for you, help you find those opportunities, which I think is truly, truly important. Going back to New York and your dancing career, the first professional kind of dancing thing you got was as a Rockette, right?
I was a Radio City Rockette. Yes, right out of high school.
Rockettes. That's amazing. And I think, what was that like being from New York and now having an opportunity to dance for such an iconic group, right? That everybody knows.
Well, in all honesty, because I'm very transparent, I knew who the Rockettes were being from New York. I did not have a clue about the history of it. So when I was doing my interviews, I was telling them, like, I'm going to be really genuine about the whole aspect of being a Rockette, which is I realized that it is such an honor to do this because everyone loves it. Everyone religiously see it, or they make it a tradition to see this show. Yeah. But I had no clue the history until I did my own research. And I didn't do that research until after I got into it. And I didn't realize, like, it's been around since 1933.
Historic.
Historically white.
Yeah. And I wanted to get into that. So you let me
historically white. So, because it was historically white, I also wasn't surprised that I did not know this history because it was historically white. And then when I found out that they didn't let their first African-American join the line until 1988, that's a long time.
That's a big gap, 30s to the 80s. I mean,
that's a huge gap, 88, So, of course, the job itself was amazing. You do honestly have like a sisterhood with all these women that you're in a line with. And most of the times, because I did it for 8 years, most of the time that I've done it, the majority of my years, I was like the only chocolate girl in the line. Okay. But yeah, I tell people it's like real world, but as a beautiful holiday Christmas show where we all have the same goals of just like spreading joy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have the story which was fun for those girls of their history to say my grandmother was a Rockette.
Right. It was passed down. The dream was passed down, right? Because it was in the family bloodline.
I was just like, I was like this. I've arrived.
I've done it. I'm here and taking advantage of this.
I arrived, and I'm stepping into this, and I understand how powerful this role is because when I was tired after doing 4 shows a day, I just kept saying there is a chocolate little girl out there who probably is like seeing me and could be inspired to be the next Rockette. So
yeah. And I think that's so powerful because, representation matters, diversity matters, and seeing is believing, Nirine. So to your point, it could be a beautiful chocolate girl out there that maybe never saw herself before, then went to a show and saw you and said, you know what, Mom, I want to be like her. Right. And I think it's so important. And that sometimes you don't even know what you're representing. It goes so much beyond, right? Or even somebody maybe that's watching this interview, seeing 2 Black women, talking with joy and happiness. It's like, you just never know. And I think that's why it's so important,
successful.
Successful. Look, we'll add that on. Successful.
Award-winning, Kelsey. Okay.
Award-winning. There we go. Look, I'm taking Nirine with me, y'all. She's going to be the hype woman. She is good at this. No, but it's important. I think even to that point, just to show too that like women, we don't always have to be catty. We can get along. We can be joyous. We can support each other, right? And you talked about that sisterhood that you were able to develop with the Rockettes. And I think that needs to be more kind of everywhere. There's room for everybody. Like I say, everybody can eat. There's room for everybody.
Room for everybody. Yeah. So that was really fun because I didn't go to college right away. So that was kind of like my college experience right out of high school and being a Rockette.
That's amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because right, you did that, and then you went to college after, right? Because you had a scholarship that you were able to defer off to later.
I was able to, thankfully, shout out to SUNY Purchase who let me keep my scholarship, but I deferred it. I deferred it to January. Yes, shout out to them. And then I tried to go back to school too. I tried doing online schooling, because I think, like I said, education is very important.
It matters.
It matters. So I was trying to also juggle that with my entertainment and balance the two. So I'm still in progress. But you know what, guys? Little by little, there's no rush. That's the beauty of college. Yeah. Is just at your own time.
At your own time, your own pace. Don't let anybody rush you. Do it when you can. I think that's so important. And, talking about balance, let's get to some of the hobbies. So on the Instagram, was this the dance hall I saw? We do so much more now than just tap and jazz. Oh, I saw the dance hall dancing.
Well, technically, I strategically just posted the dance because I didn't want to get boxed in. I didn't want to get boxed in as an actress who was like, oh, she mainly dances and then she's transitioning to acting, like I said. So I wanted to be introduced as an actress first. And then I wanted the cherry on top to be like, oh, she dance. You know how Black people like put the double on it?
That's when it's real for them.
Yeah, that's when it's like, oh, you do this. So I strategically waited, and I did that. I did film that recently, so it's not like an old video. Right. But I strategically didn't post a lot of dance stuff on my Instagram or platforms where people had access to me so that I could be taken seriously as an actress,
And that's real because, people, when they're looking at you, the first thing you just see is your social media, right? And that's how they're judging you a lot of the time. That's kind of like your first step into the door. That's rightfully or unrightfully, right? But, that to say, you never want to miss an opportunity. So, like I said, it's being strategic in what you post. Young people, I hope you're listening to this. Watch you post on your social media. It matters.
It matters because these people will bring up old tweets. I don't even say crazy.
We've seen people get canceled too now from these old tweets. So it's just watch what you put out there because especially now you can't take it back. The power of screenshotting is real. The way they can research things and find it, it's real. So just always put yourself in the best light and just staying with your hobbies from.
Put yourself in the best light and be genuine with it. You ain't got to be fake with it.
Right, but be real with it. Exactly. And you can be real with you and genuine, but it's like, social media, use it for what you need to use it for. For us, it's for work, right? It's putting ourselves out there. People can follow, they can see, but also, be careful. Not everything needs to be on social media. You can enjoy some moments, without the phone. You might think things that maybe don't always need to be put out there. And I think, again, just protecting yourself. And that doesn't mean you're not genuine. It just means you like keeping your job sometimes.
I like keeping my job. Yeah, I think it's important to have opinions. I love watching people like Viola Davis on Instagram, like share her opinions about like recent things that's happened. And I'm just like, you are at a level where you can do that. I love that. And I would heart it. I'm hearting it with her. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sometimes that's how you can show your love.
I'm not saying too much, but I'm hearting it with her. Because I'm like, yeah, that's right. Viola said it, y'all. Viola and Angela said it.
Genuine. There you go. It's the heart. I felt that. It's real, but I'm gonna let her speak on it, and support from my social media feed. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, outside of acting and dancing, let's get to know more who Nirine Brown is. I also understand you like doing sports and health. We can already tell you're fit, music, movies, and a foodie.
Just a little bit.
Go ahead and flaunt it. That's why we love the show.
What would a guy do right now? A little bit.
And they probably would. You know how men are. The seeing is believing. So it seems like in the spare time you're at the gym, I'm assuming in LA. Is this and then going out to eat healthy foods, I'm assuming, to balance the workouts that you're doing in the gym.
Nah, I'm a foodie altogether. Sometimes it ain't always healthy. I had pizza yesterday. It was so good. Yes, I love being active. When I was younger, my mom always, once again, was trying to exhaust me. So she had me doing like tennis.
Yeah.
I enjoy like flag football. I enjoy double dutch,
Oh, double dutch.
handball.
You took me back with that one. I missed double
Right.
dutch.
I am an advocate for like your inner child should never die. You should
I
always
agree.
be
Oh,
whimsical.
I agree. If I see ropes on the ground now, like I will still be happy, more than happy
Yeah.
to jump in.
Inner child does not die. That's how you stay young. Yeah, I love being active. I love yoga. I love when I work out, I'm into more the cardio aspect of it, and I do some like some weight training, but I'm not like what if I forgot what it's called. There's like a sport where people like really lift the heavy
Or, bodybuilding, like not
bodybuilding. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to that extent. And I think that's so cool. I think like in my head, I'll be like, it would be cool if I push myself to that level. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not that committed. Um,
That is
so
a lot of
yeah,
discipline. That is a lot of
right.
discipline to
That
be able
takes
to
a lot of discipline and kudos to those women. So yeah, I want to be fit where I feel good about myself. I feel
Yeah,
good. And yeah,
it's
I
important.
love activities of sports. I don't watch a lot of sports, which is funny
But
because I'd rather be playing it.
that's
I guess
important.
I might have ADD. I might have ADD. I don't know.
But that's so important. Now, Nirene, when I pass playgrounds, I'm like, where are the kids at? Like, we used to love being outside, playing sports, being active. And I know video games are fun and all for kids, but you got to get outside. And you
You
learn
gotta
so
get
much even just
outside.
through playing sports, especially I'm sure you in New York, like everybody was outside. You talk to
Outside.
people,
You want to race
competitive.
everybody.
So I think that's such an important lesson. And as she said, never let the inner child die. Now, Irene, before I let you go, I'd love to let my guests just leave a lasting word for the listening audience as we continue to follow your successful career.
Oh, okay. Lasting words. I mean, there's so much. Is it in regards to just life in general or like
We
industry?
can whatever you want, whatever you're feeling. Life in general is good. We have people from all walks of life listening and watching the show. So whatever a word is, as they continue to watch Nirene S. Brown grow, blossom, develop, all that's happening with your career and so much more.
Okay, lasting words. I'm going to say, because I feel like there's a generation where people are just becoming really sensitive about a lot of things,
Mhm.
which bothers me a little bit, maybe because I'm from the East Coast. So what I'm gonna say to all the, all those things that's happening where every little thing is a thing, don't take things personal.
Yeah,
Don't take things personal.
that's real.
Um, Take a moment to just breathe and maybe reflect. Sometimes it's not even about you. Sometimes it's about the other person. And I learned that from this book called The Four Agreements. And if you have not read that book, I suggest you read it today.
Mm.
Go on Prime as you watch Swarm and you order your book.
Multitask.
I'm not getting any commission from saying this book, but it's an amazing, amazing book. So
Wow.
yeah, don't take things personal.
Don't take them personal. Like, it might be our East Coast toughness, but that's true. We don't. We just don't have to.
Yeah.
And society is like that.
And I know it's hard. It's hard because we're humans, but like just don't. The moment you're about to, just catch yourself and be like, you know what? Like whatever someone says or someone do, just be like, okay. And just take a moment to like reflect and think on it. But a lot of people emotionally respond, and that's the issue that we're having, I think,
Mhm.
in America in
Mm.
regards to without getting too deep into the gun laws and stuff like that, I think there's just a lot of people who's acting out emotionally. If it's not gun laws, and it's people hurting their spouse because they're people acting out emotionally, you know, which will tie back into Swarm. Dre, who's an emotional person, responds out of emotions. And when you do that, you hurt people. So just, you know.
That's real though. I mean, it's real. Emotions are powerful, you know, and we can see them, you know, they can be beautiful. So it's when you really love somebody, but they can be over, you know, you can be, you know, over emotional. And like you said, the domestic violence, unfortunately, you know, that's unfortunately become a norm, you know, Nirine, like when you see it in the news, it's super sad. So I think, you know, what you said, it's just, you know, all of us at the end of the day, just working on ourselves so we can be the best versions of ourselves. And I think that's how you truly make a better world. Nirine S. Brown, it was such a joy, honor, and pleasure to have you on. As she said, check her out, y'all. Amazon Prime, Swarm. I'm gonna go finish the series tonight. I'm almost there. I'm halfway through. This conversation has motivated and inspired me, folks. If you hit me up, it might be on Do Not Disturb later, but I'll get back to you.
Right. Listen, that's your Mimi time. You should take it. I'm here for it. I support. You got my vote on it.
Truly
Thank
appreciate
you for having me. Thank you for for all those that tune in and jumped on the live. We appreciate you for taking out the time of your day. And it's such a pleasure to see your gorgeous face. I'm going to be following you and see what you up to too, Queen.
I so appreciate it. Like, we're
connected. You know, on the off chat, I'm gonna ask you what happened recently.
Look, we're gonna have the real chat. We're gonna have the real chat soon, Nirine. Following her. And speaking of which, Nirine, can you give your social media so folks can make sure they follow?
Of course. My social media is Nirine, Nirine_S_Brown.
Make sure y'all follow her. She has great content on the gram. She's on Twitter. So much. Thank you so much for a great show. It was great to meet y'all. And as I always say on these shows, these are live. This is mine and Nirine's first time meeting. So thank you for bringing your authentic self to the show, for opening up, giving the listeners so much insight. Truly a pleasure to meet you. Stay warm in sunny LA. Make sure y'all keep sending that sunshine over here to the East Coast. We could use it.
Oh, you got it. It's all on you. You got it. It's in you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nirine. Have a great one.
Anytime, love. Bye. Thank you, guys.
All right, you all. You just heard from Nirine Brown. Again, check her out. A phenomenal actress doing amazing work. Amazon Prime. Go to it. Watch it. Swarm is really great. I'm telling you, but make sure you have time because it's gonna tie you in. You're not going to want to leave. We'll be back with the live stream show this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be joined by John Rogers. That name might ring a bell. I'm super excited to speak with him. He's with Ariel Investments, but even more so, you know, you just watch. We know we just wrapped up March Madness. Well, he knows a little bit about playing basketball, former Princeton basketball player. Princeton, by the way, did really well this year. So we're going to touch on all of that, all around March Madness, and then how you go from being an athlete in life after. So it's going to be so great. Also have some great audio shows dropping. Got my guy, Rob Knox, joining me soon on the audio show. So also be sure to subscribe to the audio show anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. That'll do it for this episode. A special thanks to my entire team behind the scenes, from the graphics to the videos, to running the show, my producer, Michael, to the voiceovers, Michael Lyle Jr. I love it. I'm just so thankful to have such an incredible team. So thank you. And I can't wait to see you all Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM, Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio now offers official Kelsey Nicole Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today. And check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey Nicole Nelson.